What's up, everybody? We are back. John Delarose here, the leading Hispanic voice in science fiction, coming at you today with a tale of the quartering. I talked about the whole of the situation on my blog earlier this morning, and how this last week just has been a lash out of attacks on indie comic creators, specifically conservative indie comic creators, by the quartering. It's always amazing to me how these YouTubers get into these positions where they get propped up after some perceived wrong. In this instance, it came from the Quartering's deal with Magic the Gathering, where he was actually, really bugging this e-thought on Twitter. You want to call it harassment, you want to call it whatever, provoking her, calling her names, et cetera, et cetera. And then Magic the Gathering banned him from tournaments and banned him from online play to get things pushed forward. Now, I obviously don't agree with the bannings. I think people fighting on Twitter should not impact parts of people's lives, and that's why I broke the story to the public. If you guys don't remember, because the internet has very short memories, I broke the story about his bannings, how Magic actually sealed his account, took hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of these like online cards, basically, from his account that he can't get back, and just closed it because their terms of service just say we own everything. And it ends up being like a typical internet company where, somebody gets screwed out of their investments or screwed out of their time because a platform decides they were bad on another platform. Now, I don't like that kind of thing, obviously, but it can't be denied that looking through these screenshots and everything, that the quartering actually instigated a lot of this stuff. Now, this woman was popular within the Magic community, and he was really prodding her over and over and over again. That existed. And this is exactly what's happening now. And I've found with a lot of these YouTube guys that the movements, these online movements, build around where people get really obsessed with these guys. They're actually based on these blood sports. And these guys who do this, whether it's Ethan Van Sciver, the Quartering, Mike Miller, Doug TenNapel, all these guys tend to pick fights first and then come and start making a cause about how they're being discriminated against or whatever. It varies in different instances, but this is exactly what's gone on. And I've seen it over and over and over in the YouTube community. And what happens is these guys get a little love from a segment of audience, and then they dedicate themselves to full-time drama. And it's a taxing sort of thing. I mean, to do that it really requires a certain type of personality, and probably, some talent and communication and all that, which I don't have. I'm just a guy who makes comic books and makes science fiction novels. That's my primary deal. I like doing my stuff alone, and I like my quiet time. That's the type of person I am. And that's why I generally make videos about like books I like and things like that. It's not as sexy, doesn't get as many views, but that's what I do. But the people that YouTube, or that I'd say internet movements, rally around are always the same sort of deal. And they're always crude. They're always crass. They always go on Twitter and YouTube to play for likes with extreme language, as you can see on the screen here. And they play to a certain group. So since I am not popular among the Comicsgate crowd right now, because there's been some smear campaigns going on about me, the Quartering has to then therefore virtue signal, just like the SJWs do. Actually, a lot worse than the SJWs do in a lot of these instances. Virtue signal that I'm a bad person, and virtue signal by just like swearing at me, calling me names, etc. And that's what he did last night. So the basis of this sort of situation is that he's having a fight with Ethan Van Sciver because, I don't know, there's some DMs that Ethan Van Sciver leaked, and the Quartering takes exception with that and says that, it's a crime to leak DMs because they're supposed to be private. I don't know. I don't say anything in private that I wouldn't say in public, so I don't generally have a problem with this sort of thing whatsoever. I try to just stay consistent in my life, and it ends up not having problems with these things. It's interesting that he took this tack and just took this fight, and it stemmed over the last week as he's having fights with Comicsgate people. And then what happens is, they pile on him, and, he makes a statement, and then they pile on him more. He ends up being the target of the week. And this is what they've done for the last 2 years. It's just been about targeting random people, about trying to break down people's platforms tear people down rather than build up comics and anything else. But the quartering really should be prepared for this because that's his entire career. He does the exact same thing as these other people. And when I messaged him, because I figured, you know what, I broke the story of his Magic the Gathering thing. Now the company kind of, went overboard on the way they treated him. He'll probably need some solidarity right now, being attacked by these guys. So I messaged him saying, "Hey, welcome to the team. I'm here for you." And he can't accept that. So instead of just being friendly and being on the side of right, being on the side of counterculture and like conservatism, which he pretended to be by claiming Doug TenNapel was not those things last week, which was just actually what spiraled this fight to begin with. He went after TenNapel, and then he backed down off of that because this guy backs down a lot, and then Comicsgate took exception to it. But he did the same thing Ethan did to me, by copying and pasting my DM to him, putting it out on the internet, and then making some sort of grandstand about it rather than actually talking to me. And that's what these people do. They are gamma males at their heart, and they cannot talk. They can't have a real conversation. They can't actually stick with their cause. They can't be consistent about anything. And within 30 minutes of him complaining that Ethan did something to him, he did the exact same thing to me. And it's okay when he does it to me. Imagine that. That's the YouTuber or SJW game. I find out it's okay when we do it is definitely their only principle they ever have. So you see, he's screaming at me, "You're opportunist, anti-CG, whatever." I didn't say anything about Comicsgate to him. I didn't say anything about anti-CG. See, they've tried to build this like us versus them in every instance that they get into things. And this is, again, just the YouTuber thing. So anti-CG is their new enemy. And whoever's, if you're not for us, you're against us, right? It's that kind of garbage. But he's not even CG, and he's saying that CG is bad. But we're worse than CG because why? You should be fighting the machine of Marvel and DC, not each other. Well, I am. The ironic part here is I'm the only person here coming out with monthly comic books, which was fighting the machine of the corporate culture, while these guys are all just complaining about it and not actually doing anything other than harassing people on Twitter and on their YouTube channels. That's all they do. There's no fighting the machine that goes on with these guys. If you turn to his YouTube channel real quick, you'll see it. And this is the YouTube outrage train that goes on here. Look at his uploads. So jealous media smears, right? I mean, all of his rhetoric is just aimed at this. And he puts a girl on there to get clicks. If you notice, most of his videos have these like big red epic fail or liar, epic fail on all these things. And just with clickbait sort of deals, where he just is complaining about he says legendary win for Sonic because Sonic is their quote anti-corporate media thing of the week, which is interesting. They always pick a corporate media to be anti-corporate media. Think about how they always do this. They want to stand behind Sonic because Sonic is a corporate media property. That's a video game property, right? They want to stand behind Ethan Van Sciver because Ethan Van Sciver is a longtime DC comics artist, right? So they pick their battles by just choosing safe causes that actually aren't the counterculture at all, but are just a regular part of the culture. And that's what the quartering does here. Ironic because he was saying that Doug TenNapel is not counterculture because he refuses to use the Comicsgate hashtag. And Doug TenNapel is actually doing his own thing, creating his own properties, and is pretty dedicated towards it. So it seems like these guys always hit those who produce in order to try to make their points, but then just keep complaining about the corporate media. If you look at this, epic fail, Marvel goes woke, Amberhead's lies destroyed. There's the lies, fail. It's just outrage media all the time. Shill journo. Every single video he makes is just an outrage culture thing about safe corporate media properties that everybody is not going to watch anyway. Nobody went and watched this Birds of Prey movie, so who cares? You're just giving it free advertisement. And the studios actually have figured out that these guys are giving them free advertisement. If you look at the Captain Marvel campaign or the most recent Star Wars campaign, they actually made it into a culture war battle, saying that these guys are harassing all of our creators, which they are, and therefore you need to go see the movie as a political cause, and it works out some of the times. So sometimes what these guys do backfires and actually helps these movie studios they claim to hate. And you'll notice these guys every single time they'll go out and see these movies opening day and give them the money anyway. It's all just like a scam for their YouTube clicks, because he needs these 100K YouTube clicks over and over, and he's very good at it. You see the formula every time here. It's the attack. What is he actually like? I have no idea. Yeah, he doesn't seem to like anything except for, I guess, Sonic, which was an okay kids movie, but whatever. And this is what they do. So they just can't live without the outrage, and it's all identity politics based. To him, they've branded me anti-CG, so therefore he has to identity politics, swear at me, and that's all that goes on. These people will never support real culture makers, real people who are actually trying to do something different with the culture. All they do every time is this sort of nonsense. And that's why they got to try to take down people like me, because I'm actually producing something. I'm actually doing what they can't do, which I'm going back and I'm restoring golden age material from when America was a real culture that produced beautiful things, really had a sense of wonder to it, a sense of heroism to it, where we had our great comics of the past. And I'm both remaking them and adding these characters to modern times, and I'm restoring these old classics so that people can still share them today. If you look at the color restorations that we're doing for these old books that haven't seen the light of day in a long time, we're doing this because we love American culture. I want to change American culture to be positive. I want to change American culture to be family friendly. You don't do that by putting videos of two men kissing up for clicks. You're not changing the culture by doing that. You're just perpetuating the same images that the corporations want you to see. And that's what he's doing. So that is the sad story of the quartering. I wish I didn't blow that guy up in the mainstream media. This is time and time again, and it's my failing. I got caught up in these movements. I did the same thing for Richard C. Meyer. I did the same thing for Ethan Van Sciver and Mike Miller. I blew them all up in the Federalist, gave them mainstream media attention, and gave them credibility, because I truly thought at the time that, we do need to raise awareness for what's going on here, and we do need to have some people to rally behind. Unfortunately, I chose people who are not actually interested in changing the culture, but are only interested in perpetuating the same spirals of culture that we're going into now, and just outrage for clicks. All right, so that's it. What can we do? Just don't click on those videos. Why would you watch these? There's going to be no content here that's worth any of your time whatsoever. Watch videos that are fun, that are actually giving you some education, that are about positive things, about cultural items that are interesting, the things that you love. That's how you'll change the culture. You got to consciously do this, because it's easy to go onto one of these videos. Look at these hundreds of thousands of 100,000 people on every single video are tuning into this, because it's very easy to look at this and see fail and all red. Look at the imagery he uses intentionally. Emoji, something shocking, right? All the time. It's very easy to click on these things. Very easy to click on these things, and you have to train yourself out of it. And that it takes time, it takes effort, it takes yourself every day just being like, I'm not going to click on this stuff. And once you get out of it, you're going to have a happier existence too. That's the great thing. All right, guys, I'll be back later. Hit the like and subscribe button, and support great comics like Dynamite Thor. It is down in the comments below, and we're getting close to funding right here. This is a little nichey one, because it's preserving American culture, and these guys do not want to preserve American culture. So it's on you, and please share it with your friends and let them know about this great comic. I'll be back later.